Yo boys, it is Bad Financial Decisions with a Side of Autism here. And today we have a video about aluminum channel garbage. If I can reach into my pocket, because I'm a liability to society. The fact that I'm allowed to stay alive is an anomaly. I don't know why they have not brought back the death penalty. And here's the Flytanium Lucha clone. It's here, and man is it good. It's aluminum, and it's a trainer, and it's a clone. Whoa. It's bearing, as you know, and is good. This thing's really good, actually. Really quick before I start flipping it more, because, you know, you guys should know how bearings work. The pivots get loose real quick. I literally just got this knife, like, 20 minutes ago. But, yeah, let's do tolerances real quick. Fuck. Is good. Sound very good. Tolerances are on point on this guy. So, how does it flip? Well, walk with me. So this clone is good. It flipped very good. It's bearings, so some people might not like that. I like it. I don't dislike bearings. I think they're very fun to flip. But if you've never tried bearings, I think this is a really good way to try them. It definitely gives you a good idea of like the pros and cons of bearings in terms of tunability, flippability, difference in feeling. You can really feel the momentum on this one. Like you can feel like, wow, these bearings are really carrying a lot of speed here. That's a little difficult to manage. You pair that with the fact that the tolerances are really tight, and it's kind of hard to do some combos. It's very rewarding too, though. When you land a combo on this thing, it's really satisfying. You know, considering it is difficult to flip it. Not in terms of, I gotta clarify, not in terms of balance, not in terms of handle feel, not in terms of aluminum being slick, not in terms of anything like that. It's the fact that it's bearings paired with very, very tight tolerances. This is something that is an overall bearing thing, and if you aren't very familiar with the difference between good tolerances and loose tolerances, then you might not know what I'm talking about. But loose tolerances are actually a lot more forgiving when it comes to pulling off tricks. Like if I were to fan, right, that handle is going to move before the blade and then carry the blade with it, if that makes sense. When you have really tight tolerances, they have to move at the same time. So if you notice, right, when you're fanning, right, sometimes that blade will get caught in a straight position like this when you fan. So you get this kind of effect. And that's because you did a sloppy fan. Bearings are very, very punishing like that. Same as if you're trying to do like a ton of whip rollovers and get like a ton of momentum going, you know, it's going to wear your hand out really quick because you can't really ricochet on bearings because it's going to stop all that momentum. You got to try and flow to keep that momentum going. And not only is it exhausting, but it's really taxing in terms of how smooth you can get a combo going. Sorry, I just rambled on about like pros and cons of bearings, but basically think of it as people telling you that live blades are better for learning because they force you to learn a lot faster and they don't let you be sloppy. Think about that, but in terms of flow. Bearings definitely discipline you for not being very smooth in your flips. If you're very choppy, you're not going to be able to flip a bearing knife very well. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like them, is because they're not forgiving. It's really hard to get a clip on bearing knives, especially if you leave them in tight tolerances. If you loosen them, it's not as bad. But if you leave them tight and you leave them to the best tolerances they can get to, which is 99% of the time with most bearing knives, no tap, no play. And I mean literally no play. I'm like not exaggerating here. When people tell you no play, they don't mean this. They mean no play in terms of bushing no play, which means a tiny bit of play. Bearings can give you no play at all. And when you get that, it's hard to flip. In terms of actual flippability though, In terms of actually flipping though, the balance is really good. It's very, very neutral. I don't remember if I've talked about this on the channel before, but I know I've definitely talked about it a lot of times. The trainer blade for the Lucha is a lot better for flipping than the live blade. Again, weight distribution. I'm not going over it again, just watch a previous video, I've probably talked about it more. But look at all that tip weight. Look at all, it's not focusing. There we go. Look at all that material towards the tip. That's a good amount of material. So fans, fans are buttery. Look at that, perfect T-fan. No handle drag, nothing, look at that. You'd love to see it. Boom. But yeah, this thing flips really, really good. I'm a big fan of how it flips. This might be heresy, but I feel like this is better than the real thing. If memory serves me correctly, I'm pretty sure the real fly tie aluminum handles are thicker than this. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it, because there is a chance that I'm wrong. It has been a while since I flipped a fly tie Lucha. But I do feel like these are a little thinner. And that was my main gripe with the aluminum Luchas, was that the handles were too thick. This doesn't feel as thick.
Hey, it's me from the future. Wow. I need to clarify a clarification. I still stand by it. It does, from memory, feel thinner than the real handles. Again, by memory, so it's not guaranteed. But I do need to say that the clone handles are still thick. Like thicker than a Kraken. They are thick handles. So don't think it has a proper thickness, because it doesn't. It's not like industry standard thickness. It's still pretty thick. So yeah, just had to say that. If you're not a fan of thick knives, maybe skip this one. And bearing. But yeah. Okay, future me is gone. Bye bye.
Again, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. I am 100% sure that there is a chance of me being wrong. We will see for sure at Blade Show though, which, by the way, Flytanium, I'm coming for you, is good. I'm a big fan of this thing. It's a great flipper, sounds good, quality is very good, and it's very cheap. These guys are like 45 bucks. Ano's really good. It's got that like sparkly bead blast look to it. You can see it really well actually. So overall, this thing is great. I'm a huge fan of this. But yeah, this thing's really, really, really good. Now here's the question all of you are gonna ask. Alright, I already know it, because I know you guys. Is it good? Do you recommend it? Is it better than X Knife? Should you get it? I think so. Especially if you haven't flipped a bearing knife, I think this is a really good introduction to flipping a bearing knife and getting a feel and getting more understanding. Knowledge is really important. This gives you a good amount of knowledge. Is a good flipper. It's a thicker knife, so you can learn if you like thicker ballies or if you like thinner. You can also learn whether you like bearings, and you can also understand what I mean about those tight tolerances in flipping. So I recommend it. It's starting to rain. I recommend this guy to those of you who need to learn more, which is a lot of you. And yeah, is it better than X knife? No. No, it isn't. I don't really know what knife you're going to be asking me. Probably like Falcon. It's actually fucking raining. It's fucking raining. Dude. But yeah, no, I have a feeling you're going to ask like the Alien, the Falcon, Kraken clone. Where's the Kraken Baliplus video? I know what you guys are going to ask, like, to compare it with. And I'm not answering them. L cope ratio. Fuck you. Because you can't really compare this. Because bearing. So I'm just going to say no. Because most people don't like bearings. So just from that alone, we're going to say no. It is not better. It is different. Is it worse? No. Objectively, no. Do I recommend it overall? No. I think it's valuable to have. I think the knowledge is very valuable. I think the knowledge that this gives you is worth more than 45. So I think in that regard, I think this is worth it. I think getting to the feel for a thicker aluminum channel... Why did I say that weird? The feel of a thicker aluminum channel bally with very, very tight tolerance bearings, I think that knowledge alone is worth more than $45. So I'd say this is a good buy. But overall, I don't recommend it just based off the fact that you guys are looking for a flipping experience. And due to the fact that general consensus says that most people don't like bearings, I would just say no. So if you're a little weary of trying something new, which, you know, to each their own, understandable, that's your choice. If you're a little weary of trying something new, I would say steer clear. Fuck. But yeah, I would say steer clear. In terms of what you should get, that I would recommend just based off general consensus, I would say don't fucking buy anything right now and wait for me to make the Baliplus Kraken video. Because that, from what I hear from other people, is absolutely fucking cracked. So, yeah, that's about it. See you, boys.